Vice President Dick Cheney gave a speech at the Economic Times Global Business Summit in India. Now, first of all, let me just say I was shocked he was there because Dick Cheney actually doesn't travel certain places because he's afraid that he will be arrested for war crimes. That's literal. Hot diggity damn. So, but I guess India is not a place of concern for him for whatever reason. So he went to India and gave this speech. But Dick here said something that a lot of Democratic partisans will like.
I would not underestimate the weight that we as Americans assign to the Russian attempts to interfere with our internal political processes. Another aspect of Mr. Putin's conduct is the fact that he took his capabilities in the cyber area and used it to try to influence our election. There was a very serious effort made by Mr. Putin and his government, his organization, to interfere in major ways with our basic fundamental democratic processes. In some quarters, that would be considered an act of war.
Damn. Hot diggity damn. So, hashtag the resistance. You like that? You like snuggling up right there next to Dick Cheney? Ooh, yes. It's very convenient for hawkish purposes. I mean, if you say, they declared war on us. That's what they did. This is an act of war. Well, then the response is we got to go to war back. So you can't have somebody declare war on you and you just sit there with your thumb up your ass. You got to fight back. So what's he arguing for here? Well, there's a few things that go hand in hand with the point he's making. One of them is, well, we need to increase in Syria. We need to back the rebels more. We need possibly more ground. Trump just sent 1,000 more ground troops into Syria. You put more ground troops in there, and because we're against Assad and teamed up with Assad is Russia. So let's have a proxy war in Syria. Let's become even more hawkish against Iran, because Iran is aligned with the Syrian government as well. So let's tank that nuclear deal that we had. That'd be a great idea. And of course, Russia is aligned with Iran as well. They're allies too. So let's, increase tensions over there. Let's also increase tensions in Ukraine over Crimea. Let's jack up troop levels and NATO troop levels in Estonia and the post-Soviet states. Right now, we already have NATO troops on Russia's border. Cheney loves that. He loves it. He'd love more there. I mean, think about it. If we had, Russian troops on Mexico's border, how would we feel about that? That'd be like the Cuban Missile Crisis times a million, wouldn't it? We view that as just a flat-out provocation. He wants war. That's what he wants. That's why he's doing that. But NATO doesn't, and that's cool. Don't worry about it. Now, look, I'm not an apologist for him taking Crimea. I would have done sanctions over Putin taking Crimea. But you also have to understand that the claim from Russia that NATO has been expanding to their border ever since NATO began. And even though there was a promise from the West that it wouldn't creep an inch closer to Russia's border, you have to understand that's just true. We told them NATO will not go anywhere near your border. And then we just kept creeping closer and closer to their border. So you know how they view that? They view that as an act of aggression on the part of the West. So there's an argument that what they're doing and what they've been doing is defensive. I know people like MSNBC, Rachel Maddow loves to go on and fucking pontificate about how evil Russia is and how they have a PP tape of Donald Trump and Donald Trump needs to escalate on the border because if he doesn't, then there's damning evidence of him fucking getting peed on by hookers or some shit. But she doesn't know the fucking history of NATO. She doesn't know the history of the region. So she doesn't get that it's not just that Putin is the epitome of everything evil ever. It's also that in their mind, they are acting in a defensive way against the West. And that's not crazy illogical because, I don't know, it's not like the West has a fucking track record of invading countries that didn't attack us and then occupying it and currently bombing 7 different countries. Yeah, I know, right? Like, oh, we're such angels that, we only violate international law like all the fucking time. So there are two sides to that story. But no, Dick Cheney, he's on the neocon side. Escalate with Russia. Push closer and closer to World War III, because this is our world. And we don't, this geopolitical chess game we're playing with Russia, fuck that. They lose, we win. So by any means necessary, if that means World War III, it means World War III. And now this is the same argument that Democratic partisan hacks are making. Establishment Democrats, corporate Democrats now agree totally with Dick Cheney on the issue of Russia. In 2012, Obama made fun of Mitt Romney when Mitt Romney took the same position Cheney takes now. Mitt Romney said, Russia's the biggest threat to world peace. Obama was like, the 1980s called, they want their foreign policy back. But now all of the corporate Democrats agree with that position. And no, it's not because of the Crimea situation. That's not why they agree with Dick Cheney. They agree with Dick Cheney because in their minds, Vladimir Putin cost Hillary Clinton the election. And by the way, you know you're dealing with a political hack whenever they want to talk about the fact that there were leaks as opposed to talking about the substance of the leaks, what's in the leaks. So yeah, we learned that the DNC was rigging the process from the beginning, and that pissed off a lot of people. You shouldn't be mad that we were privy to information that the people should have seen anyway. That's not what you should be mad at. You should be mad at the DNC for rigging the process, not mad at the people who exposed the fact that there was rigging going on. And we don't even know if it was Russia. These guys talk like, oh, it was definitely Russia. WikiLeaks says it wasn't Russia. Julian Assange swears up and down it wasn't Russia. And they've earned my trust a lot more than our intelligence agencies who lie all the fucking time. All the time. The NSA, we're not spying on millions of Americans and collecting their metadata. Turns out it's just a fucking lie. It was just a lie. CIA is most recently known for the torture scandal. The CIA torture. And now I'm supposed to go, oh, I believe them uncritically. They said they didn't torture and they tortured and they're war criminals. But I believe it. Their whole fucking purpose was to topple third world governments. But now I'm supposed to believe them? Meanwhile, Julian Assange and WikiLeaks have been right about everything they've spoken about all along. And I'm supposed to dismiss what they say when they say they didn't get this stuff from Russia? So it's a convenient excuse to escalate with Russia. That's what this is. So don't buy into the hype and just know if you're a corporate Democrat and you fully bought into this Russia hysteria, you agree with Dick Cheney. I just want you to know that. And there are foreign policy implications to that. And again, if people say, all I want to focus on is the financial corruption between Trump and Russia, then I'm with you. And I lead that charge. Yeah, Paul Manafort had financial connections to Russia, and there were corrupt business deals going on. Of course, that's why he was fucking fired halfway through the campaign, because that was proven. So I'm fine with talking about the financial corruption. Let's talk about it everywhere. Let's talk about the financial corruption he has with Russia. Let's talk about the financial corruption he has with Azerbaijan. That was a recent story. Let's talk about what he has with South Korea and Turkey and all these other countries where he does business and outsources jobs. Of course, he's violated the Emoluments Clause. You can impeach him over that. Except I don't know if you want to do that. You get Pence if you do that, and he might be worse. But sure, financial corruption through and through. But the Democrats are not just talking about financial corruption. Now they are also clearly talking about, as Rachel Maddow argued, liberal Rachel Maddow, oh, well, now we know if Trump removes NATO troops from Russia's border, it's because Vladimir Putin has dirt on him and maybe has a tape of hookers peeing on him. So now you've made it so that if Trump were to do the right thing, you would be against it, partisan Democrats. The right thing is to remove the NATO troops from Russia's border. Keep the Crimea sanctions in place, but remove the troops from the border. That's an insane provocation. That's insane. So now the Democrats are just hawkish on Russia. And again, final point here, I've made it 1,000,000 times, but I'm going to make it 1,000,000 more. The Democrats make two claims at the same time that are totally contradictory. One of them is Donald Trump is a thin-skinned, narcissist, impulsive buffoon who is profoundly dangerous. He has the attention span of a gnat, and he might, I don't trust him with the nuclear button. He might fucking press that thing, man. He might press that thing. So can't have a guy like that. I mean, that's crazy. Too much power for a guy like that. They make that claim, and then they also make the claim, hey, why are you so weak? You got to stand up to Putin. Why are you Putin's bitch? You should stand up to him. So thin-skinned narcissist buffoon who we don't trust with nuclear weapons and who's too impulsive and too trigger-happy. And oh yeah, you and the leader of Russia get along too well. You should be more aggressive against him. Because that can't spiral out of control. Pick one. I know what side I'm on, not the side of Dick Cheney.